58 seconds of previously ons. Yes, you'd think a reminder would be welcome considering it's been a year since we sent part 1, but honestly, I'm more confused than I would be going in blind. And hungry? This place is a mess, but I suppose that's what you get when your planet's architecture is inspired by a novelty snow globe. Rumor has it that 7 out of 10 regenerations on Gallifrey are a direct result of peripheral vision mishaps due to these ridiculous and unnecessary cumbersome decorative neck phalanges. While the ability to regenerate an unspecified amount of times might make you less worried about the dangers of unprotected walkways, I still can't imagine falling off of one would be a pleasant experience.
Here, peasant, hold my staff that I clearly don't need, but is important enough to be held by someone else until it's crucial for the plot.
Disappeared, my Lord President.
Giving someone both the assignments of Lord and President. You have to share some of the toys, Mr. Hot Fuzz.
Thank you for your opinion.
Imagine being the guy who followed the invention of the shape-shifting time machine with, okay, that's cool, but what about this metal zappy glove I made? Also, we'll eventually find out that this chap is Rassilon, an apparently important character introduced in the 70s as an ancient Time Lord who was already dead but was then resurrected in some ancillary Doctor Who media, which in summary means there are multiple dimensions of how the f am I supposed to know or care who this is? Earth.
Say goodbye to the freak, Grandad. Donna, get out of there!
Get out of where? The master just said he was tracing the call, so getting out of there is pretty redundant while she's still on the f***ing phone, Wilf.
Those creatures? Why could I see a giant wasp?
Lack of imagination? Overdependence on subpar CG? Doctor Who fans thinking that laughable monster designs are still an endearing part of the show even in 2009? Pick your BBC poison.
But really? Do you think I'd leave my best friend without a defense mechanism?
Well, no, but you could have told poor old Wilf that, right? Like, what's the harm in telling him that there's a good chance his granddaughter won't be fatally killed by the time puddle in her mind? Also, Sarah Jane Smith, Adric, Perry, and a half dozen other best friends have entered the TARDIS and would like to have words.
Wonder what I'd be without you.
Maybe in a better Christmas special with a more interesting villain?
Began on Gallifrey.
At this point in history, the Master has been a beloved villain for over 40 years, and guess what? It wasn't because we knew about his tortured f***ing upbringing. Don't humanize him. Don't make me feel sympathy for him. Just bring back the shrinky pen gun thing and let me love to hate the guy.
What does that mean?
It's a gap in the fabric of reality.
Interrupting another person's story because you just have to be the one that answers all the questions. F***ing Doctor Who.
A rhythm of 4. The heartbeat of a Time Lord.
Why is the visionary giving her a reply in this coded bullshit? We've heard her talk. Speak.
Then let's find it. You and me.
Protagonist decides to team up with the antagonist, even though it makes very little sense for the story, but is almost assuredly handled this way because they had to stretch this over 2 hours and don't know where to go with the villain's story. Cliché.
This body was born out of death. All it can do is die.
But it also has an interesting and stylish haircut along with a collection of perfectly fitting hoodies. That sounds like life to me.
The drumbeat is calling from so far away, and now it's been amplified 6 billion times. Triangulate all those signals, I could find its source.
This sounds like some perfectly on-brand Doctor Who tech gibberish, but the bigger problem is that I have no idea what the Master's plan was to begin with. It clearly wasn't find the source of the drums because he's just having that revelation right now. It seems like the plan was maybe to take over the Earth so he could just drop that Master race pun and then hope the Doctor gives up the TARDIS because that's what the Master always wants.
God bless the cactuses.
That's cacti.
That's racist.
That's my line.
Worst rescue ever.
If the Doctor believes this, he clearly hasn't seen that viral video of the helicopter rescue that sent that poor grandma on a stretcher into a full-on nausea spiral. Don't Google it. I mean, you should, but you shouldn't. But you will. I'll save a seat for you in hell.
Gotcha.
You think so?
For f***'s sake, the Master, you really would have gotcha if you'd skip saying gotcha and actually just gotcha'd.
Oh my goodness me, we're in space!
You were always in space, Wilf. You just have less Earth between you and it now. Just gonna tippity-tap some typing nonsense as fast as I can while reading this bullshit techno gibberish. The soldiers standing behind the Master are clearly a little bit taller, which is something the Doctor already told the Master just a couple of minutes earlier, so the Master really isn't the listening type. Also, this Master sticks his tongue out more than Gene Simmons, and I don't like it.
But we're safe. We're 100,000 miles above the Earth.
And he's got every single missile on the planet ready to fire.
Good point.
Terrible point. No Earth missile has a range of 100,000 miles. The longest range I can find is just shy of 10,000 miles, which means that the Doctor is definitely safe and everyone on Earth is reachable by a nuke, and I wish I didn't know that. Running, panting, elder abusement? Yeah, better keep quiet. Those pesky sound waves are notorious for being detectable in 100,000 miles of vacuum.
No way back now. He's stranded.
Believing this about the man who travels through space and time in a phone box and has a screwdriver that could probably cure cancer while detecting dark matter.
Concentrate. Find the signal.
This works.
A simple task of 4 beats transmitted back through time and implanted in the Master's mind as a child.
Of course, the Time Lords did it. It couldn't have just been because the Master was genuinely driven mad by the time vortex, could it? Oh no, that's far too linear. So, not only did we give him an unnecessary origin story, but we've also had to contrive it into the other villain's plan for maximum timey-wimey-attudenosity.
We need something to make the contact physical. Something so simple.
Something I just so happen to have atop this fancy scepter. What luck! Wait, what? I thought this was just a handy projection. Are we saying that this is actually a portal to 2009 Earth? Why would they have that? Why is that allowed? Was the Doctor distracted when he sent them to this f***ing time void and left a load of convenient get-out clauses? Who am I kidding? Of course he was.
The sound. It's coming from above.
The Master would be the Deanna Troi at TVSins.
Anyone? Oh, I think I'm lost.
Which doesn't really make any sense unless the script needs you to be inexplicably alone so that Little Miss Doom can forebode at you some more.
I brought this.
Bringing a gun to a Master Who fight.
This is the Doctor's final battle.
But just this Doctor's final battle, right? We always seem to forget the multiple lives part just so we can artificially amp up the tension when we're talking to people who don't realize he can regenerate.
He never carries guns.
Of all the Britishisms in this show, why do I feel like this will be the hardest thing for an American audience to understand? Pointing the shooty part of the gun at the person you're intending to give the gun thing to. I know so much about guns.
I'd be proud
Of what?
if you were my dad.
Time and relative dimension in Skip?
It's not like I'm an innocent. I've taken lives.
But yeah, you're hesitant to take the life of a man that could bring the end of time to the entire universe. Doesn't seem like the greatest of times to grow a conscience.
You take the gun and save your life.
Never.
And by never, I mean never until something really crazy happens, and I then take the gun to show how crazy the crazy thing is.
The star was a diamond.
Show takes a cue from Diamonds Are Forever, but does not give us an appearance of either Mr. Kidd or Mr. Wint. Not cool, Doctor Who. Not cool.
Send the signal back and the link becomes a pathway.
But only if you frou-frou the gagas and subvert the influencing polarizers, correct?
But you said your people were dead. Past tense.
Inside the Time War, and the whole war was time-locked, like sealed inside a bubble.
Look, I'm a f***ing wolf on this one. At this point, we've had 4 years of the Doctor morbidly claiming to be the last of the Time Lords, and how he had the unthinkable responsibility of killing them and the Daleks to stop the Time War. And now it turns out you didn't, because you know what? A temporal naughty step is very f***ing different to killing billions of people, sir.
You've got asteroid lasers!
Yeah, but they're all frazzled. Consider them unfrazzled.
Because the Doctor can somehow fix a ship he's never even been on before after he destroyed just about every valuable system that was on it.
Lasers!
What for? Because of the missiles.
It feels like information he should have given them after he told them the lasers had been fixed. Wilf literally just learned how to use this equipment less than a minute ago, and he's already taking missiles out like he's Slim Pickens. And if you didn't get the Slim Pickens reference, maybe watch less Doctor Who and more Dr. Strangelove. And sure, you can get all frazzled up about what I just said, but just remember, gentlemen, you can't fight in here, because this is the war room.
Second wave, launch missiles.
And there's more! 16 of them!
There are somewhere close to 13,000 nuclear weapons on the planet, let alone non-nuclear, so why is the Master only launching a few dozen at a time? Everyone on this ship should be dead and the Doctor should be on their 27th regeneration by now.
Now the vanguard stands prepared as the children of Gallifrey return to the universe.
I feel like this is supposed to be important and monumental, but this two-parter does a job at making us understand why it's so important and monumental. Also, considering how colorful their clothing is, I'm having a hard time understanding why the Time Lords choose only to sit in dark rooms. It's like they watched Sinister and were like, yeah, having the lights out makes all of the sense.
50 clicks and closing!
Thing I say while trying to get rid of all my open tabs somehow makes it into the episode. I hope the Doctor plans on cleaning up the blood on this nice floor. I mean, unless he wants ants. Because unattended bloodstains is how you get 10 ants. 10 ants. 10 ants. But seriously, let's talk about the Doctor's plan. jump out of a speeding ship, fall to almost certain death, and on the off chance he survives, shoot the aliens with regenerative capabilities with a pistol from the Second World War that might not even work. Great plan. 10 doctors out of 10.
We are gathered for the end.
Making it seem like gathering for the end is the appropriate thing to do in this situation. Did the Time Lords also make the band stay on the Titanic and play while the ship went down?
Think how much better you're gonna look as me.
Looks like the Master went to the Star-Lord school of separating your enemies from their magic gauntlets before losing your cool.
They're not just bringing back the species. It's Gallifrey!
Earth survives this. Also, let me get this straight. The Time Lord sent the sound of 4 taps back into the past to bury a signal in the Master's subconscious so that at some point in the future they can send a crystal to Earth to boost the signal of said taps, which will turn into a bridge that will allow the entire planet of Gallifrey to move from some void in space and time to become Earth's neighbor. I don't think the science is going to hold up on this one.
But if the time lock's broken, then everything's coming through. Not just the Daleks, but the Skaro degradations, the Horde of Travesties, the Nightmare Child.
So this is basically just every season finale of Supernatural after season 3?
Kill me. The link gets broken, they go back.
So why exactly are the Time Lords letting the Doctor potentially kill the person they need alive to remain on Earth?
Go on then, do it.
You'll have to forgive me for not being completely invested in the drama of the Doctor's dilemma here. For some strange reason, I'm finding it hard to get invested in the idea that the most popular Doctor in history would be allowed to end his run by shooting a man in the face. As much as I love some hardcore tenant cocking, 4 cocks seems mildly excessive, even for a Time Lord.
You did this to me! All of my life!
Kids.
All 500,000 rads. About to flood that thing. Touch one control and it floods. Even this would set it off.
Yes, a contraption so specifically designed to f*** up Tenant's day that you have to at least suspect that Matt Smith came up with it just so he could finally get his turn.
You had to go and get stuck. Oh, yes, because that's who you are, Wilfred.
Episode has the end of time for this. Also, Star Trek Into Darkness never again has to worry about being called the worst Wrath of Khan homage.
I could do so much more, but this is what I get. My reward. But it's not fair!
Well, what about us, huh? What about our reward? Is it fair that our goodbye to beloved 10 is this tragic Time Lord temper tantrum? Tenet, is it? Is that fair?
You've got some battle scars there.
Your face. How did you do that?
Out of all the crazy things Wilfred has seen the Doctor accomplish, this is what gets him to ask a "how did you do that" question. Sean reaches for this cup of tea only to immediately put it down again, bolstering my hypothesis that the English turn into lizards if they aren't always within scolding distance of a fresh cuppa.
Where are you going?
To get my reward.
Because apparently it's fine to interfere with the sacred timeline if you know you're not going to have to deal with the fallout. For Time Lord, this must be the equivalent of moving and leaving a tuna casserole for the new owners in the attic.
And this is no place for a married woman.
Feeling like you have the right to tell a woman what her place in the world is. Unfortunately for us, the Doctor's regeneration knows to hold off long enough to allow him one final lap of previous companions. Discount Ogus Cantina. No sin here, really. I just want the narrator to acknowledge this Slovene and say Raxacora Cephalopatorius. Well, that's just childish, and I refuse to say Raxacora Cephalopatorius. Oh, damn it.
Was she happy? In the end?
Oh, for f***'s sake, her? She was in one f***ing episode. Visiting Peter Capaldi and his family in Peru would have made as much sense. I guess for the 3 people that really wanted to see Donna get married, tears of joy were shed, and I would like to send that.
I just wanted to give you this wedding present.
A lottery ticket?
The Doctor should be aware that history suggests lottery winners don't often end up as happy as we'd presume, so I'm taking this as a sign that the Doctor didn't like the Noble family very much after all. If he was having this hard a time walking, why wouldn't he have stayed closer to the TARDIS? He would have seen Rose coming from that direction as well.
We will sing to you, Doctor.
Will it be a soothing melody? Something by Fran Schubert, perhaps? Okay, I'm out. The Doctor decides that taking off and orbiting Earth is the best bet for his regeneration, despite knowing that he'll hardly be in a state to pilot the ship post-face-off. That's fine, but don't come running to me when you crash land somewhere and are forced to scavenge fish fingers and custard to stay alive. Okay, Doctor the 10th, here's your big moment, your final words in this body. Make it inspiring, make it memorable, make it dignified.
I don't want to go.
Oh, or make it that, I guess. Also, don't worry, Doc. You'll be back like before. You'll help Hunt and Fesman win the war. You'll morph in to a Scot. Then a blonde lady will fill the spot. Hopes will rise, ratings fall. Russell hopes the mouse will save it all. I mean, we know the TARDIS is bigger on the inside, so couldn't you have picked a room to regenerate in that didn't have all the sensitive timey-wimey controls within blasting reach? Shouldn't those things come with an insulated regenerating vestibule or something? What a great start for Matt Smith. This is really going to lead to so many better things for him, like Terminator Genesis and Morbius. Prioritizing your new catchphrase over not crashing your time machine.
Why is that guy orange?
The visionary confirms it.
Ending, burning, falling, all of it falling.
Flames on the side of my face.
I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
I don't make love. I
Who's Donna? She's no one. Just leave it.
What's your favorite scary movie? I looked into time, old man, and I heard it. All of us across the world, just listen.
Not listening. Not listening.
Anyone? Anyone?
Bueller?
There's an old Earth saying, Captain. A phrase of great power and wisdom, and consolation to the soul in times of need.
What's that then?
Dragons! I'm a bit out of practice with manual landing, so if I were you, I'd find something firm to hang on to.
On your knees, mankind.
Kneel before Zod!
So, Alonzo, what do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
I'll be back.